Hey guys, what the hell did you do to this team while I was gone?
Don't blame us.
No, I'm blaming you. Purple Pants are back. I'm here to win this. Let's start another streak, even though these guys are a bunch of losers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Lindsay. That's Eric. That's Steven. That's Espo. Welcome in. Happy to have you guys here with us to get ready for the Suns versus the Magic tonight. How are you guys feeling?
Man, I love this part-time gig I got now.
I
This
know,
is
right? Must be
sweet.
nice.
I roll in to get the
This
wins.
guy.
You guys handle the losses. This is going to be
This guy.
fantastic. I'm here, and I'm ready for it, people. I'm here to deliver a win for you.
I'm feeling guilty, apparently.
You
this
should.
This is all my fault.
I love
It
that
is.
Espo tried to put the blame on us like he wasn't here when the streak started. And by streak, I mean losing streak.
Yeah, well, you guys kept it going
You
on.
literally
God, it-
tipped it off for us.
Guys kept
14
it
games in
going.
the season. Let's keep the good vibes and
I've-
chemistry
I've
rolling. No
worked-
need to turn on each
I
other
have,
yet.
I have one loss this year. How many of you guys got now? Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I'm
I
sorry we
know.
put the work in, man.
Yeah.
We show up when it's
Yeah.
tough.
You've put the work in and lost, all right?
All I gotta say is happy birthday, Sean.
Yes.
You
Happy
would be
birthday.
wrong about them losing on your birthday. You better flip that energy and make it positive.
Yes, 100%. Hope you get to celebrate your birthday with a Suns W tonight. Before we dive into this one, I know Espo feels some type of way about this one, but we did get the 2-minute report from the league.
Look.
And apparently that Julius Randle game winner shouldn't have counted.
Yeah, not for the reason we thought. But yeah, first off, I have not seen somebody push off like that in a long time. Like I've seen NFL guys get separation with less contact than Julius Randle did. But according to the last 2-minute report, that wasn't a foul. But with 2.7 seconds left when the ball was inbounded, Julius Randle managed to travel, which nobody noticed because we were all so mad about the push-off. So that shot shouldn't have counted. People are complaining about the last 2-minute report. I love it because when you can shame a group of referees publicly, you have to do it.
Yeah.
They need to know that they are wrong publicly. And it holds them accountable when they don't get a playoff series, right? I love the last 2-minute report. Sure, you can't go back and replay that, but at least you're holding it accountable. And they were totally wrong last night twice.
Well, and the other side of it too, and this might just be more personal to me because we do this show, but when we lose in those type of situations, there inevitably will be fans from the other side who come into the comments and they're like, cry about it. You guys don't blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, now I can tell you to get stuffed because you were actually wrong.
Yeah, I mean, technically we were too about what
Fair,
we were
but
wrong.
still, regardless, there's always something, right? So I guess if you're active on social media, it's the same way with everyone in your comments, like trying to just act like you're being a homer or overly biased or whatever. At least you get a little bit of proof from that.
Stephen, I imagine you rewatched the film. To me, it shouldn't have come down to those final
Not at all.
final minutes there, but it did. There was a fundamental breakdown. You're up, 6 with a few minutes left to go. It never should have gotten to Julius Randle being able to take that shot.
It should not have, and he shouldn't have been able to display his stiff arm. That's very akin to my football team's running back, Derrick Henry. You see him launching people to the sideline and just no defense for it. But yes, they shouldn't have been in that situation. It's hard for me to penalize them in terms of how I'm assessing it because they're obviously without their problem solver in Kevin Durant. That being said, though, they were still in such a great flow. They went away from what helped them get that lead that they ultimately were able to establish, and they weren't able to put the ball in the basket. Missed layups, miscommunication on offense. It looked like the team from last season in little ways.
Eric, you were a karate guy, right? I half expected him to get in his fighting stance after he pushed him off. Because that looked like a defensive move, right? A personal defense move, and then no, he shot the three instead, though.
Honestly, I would arrest Julius Randle after the atrocities that he committed against Josh Okogie. I'm surprised there wasn't a police presence. Shout out to Chuck and Shaq. I thought that there should have been riots in the streets. Just if to their own, a former Wolf as well, and Josh Okogie. I mean, just disgusting, atrocious things happening over in Minnesota. A shame, shameful.
What I will say though, Josh, you cannot. You cannot in that situation. If you're in the post, it's different, but you're literally on an island. They are not giving you that call. Like Kawhi Leonard, prime Kawhi wouldn't get that call. They're just it's you and mano a mano at that point.
Oh, I actually think if he hadn't and it hadn't flopped, they would have called that push.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? If he stood his ground and it pushed him enough, I think they would have called it. But
I think the official was like, okay, he didn't hit you. Like, yes, he extended, but it wasn't that dramatic. Because of that, let it play on type of thing like in football. Both PI on offense and defense, just let it go.
All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into this one because we got a Sega Baba on our hands. As much as we should have won last night's game, we didn't, but we can take care of business at home tonight against the Magic. We'll start with the injury report here. On the Sun side of things, KD remains out. Bradley Beal also remains out, as well as Colin Gillespie. And added today is Jusuf Nurkic. He will also not be playing in this one. On the Magic side of things, Paolo Banchero is out. That's a huge blow to them. And Wendell Carter Jr., last we checked, was doubtful. Not sure if we got an update on him or not yet. He is out?
Yeah.
Okay. Which leads us to the starting lineup. We saw Bud play around yesterday. Well, keep it rolling.
I can guess. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Guess.
Oso's starting at the 4.
Oso is starting at the 4. We got Tyus Jones, Devin Booker, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, and Mason Plumlee rolling out to tip things off tonight. And how do you guys feel about this unit?
I just tweeted this. On the court, I'm very interested to see how it works out. Not a lot of shooting at all. When you went 2 bigs, Jusuf Nurkic is a better stretch big than Oso Ighodaro, so there's no shooting in that 4-5. But 15 games in the season, both of the Suns rookies that were drafted later in the draft this year are starting for them over players like Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. That is a testament to the front office, the coaching staff, the scouting department, and those 2 guys for being so trustworthy that they're going to be put in this spot.
Look, I'm excited to do one of the things that media people in this town love to do. If you checked out my Blue Sky account earlier today, I called this at about 2:00. I said Oso needs to start so you can match the size of Franz Wagner and the switchability in that lineup. And look, I was right.
The 2 rookies have been playing so well. They've had tandem moments on offense and defense where they're playing off of one another in ways that are impactful and effective, in ways that this team doesn't have in other tandems of defenders or players on offense. Also, in addition to that, his cutting ability, his general IQ on offense, he knows he's not a spacer, does all the little things that he needs to for his lack of ability and spacing to be flipped into an advantage, whether he's cutting, whether he's setting pin-in screens, whether he's flashing, whether he's relocating off of somebody else's drive to make himself be open, little things like that. And Ryan Dunn, obviously he's had bouts with threes the last handful of games, but he just understands his cutting and how to screen and how to just do little things and stay afloat on offense too.
You've just upped your defensive IQ also, which is a huge thing for me, right? Is what Oso brings in terms of the intelligence out there on the defensive side of the floor, the ability to see what's coming. I think that's a huge thing, not just the size, but the defensive IQ tonight against an Orlando team that isn't the greatest shooting team, but if you're not smart on defense, you still can get burned.
And I also think with this, Bud has to have faith that whatever Book was doing yesterday, he's going to be able to do it again tonight. But I guarantee you he's going to see some tougher defensive coverages. And while I love on the defensive side of the ball having Oso in there instead of Nurk and then Ryan, Oso, and Mason all together, offensively, if Book is getting harassed in the way that he was against this OKC 2 games ago, I think it's going to be a pretty quick pull unless Ryan Dunn's hitting his threes for Oso or Dunn, because this is going to get to the point where if you struggle early and go down a lot against a defense like Orlando without the firepower that you should be having usually, that's going to be a tough game to get back into. And what cannot happen tonight, if it's a loss, it's a loss. And I won't be thrilled, but it cannot be a game where you were out of control the entire time and dominated front to back. That's the only concern I have with this offensively.
Don't worry, Eric. Tyus Jones was knocking him down yesterday. Ryan Dunn's going to have a bounce back tonight, and that bench unit is going to hold up. We're going to be okay.
I think this is a big Tyus Jones game.
Yes.
I think
Tyus
offensively,
Jones could have a good one.
Book needs a running
He
mate
had a
tonight.
double-double last night.
Yeah, he's got to step up tonight, especially because the Orlando Magic have a handful of players that are above average and above active level defenders that they can throw him. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Anthony Black, and obviously the king of all of that, Jalen Suggs. All three of them are great at navigating screens. It's not going to be easy for them to break open and pick and roll, and it's not going to be easy to operate in isolation either. So somebody else is going to have to step up in all of that. I don't feel like there's going to be a better person to do that based off of the starting lineup than Tyus Jones, whether he's running effective pick and rolls to get someone else open or being aggressive with his three-point shot and his floater. And to that point, the Orlando Magic on a 5-game winning streak, mind you, most of those games took place at home. To Lindsay's point that we spoke on pregame, they have the best defense in the NBA over this 5-game stretch. That's their identity piece. That's their calling card. 93.9 points per 100 possessions on defense. And in the half court, only 83 per 100 possessions. They are stifling. They just get it done.
To kind of emphasize that, they're 4th in blocks per game, 7th in steals per game, but they drop down all the way to 17th in fouls per game. So for a team that's gambling a lot and reaching and jumping a lot, they're not fouling a lot. But on the other end of that, 28th in points per game this season, 24th in three-pointers made, 7th in free throws attempted, 15th in free throws made. So if you can score at a decent clip and overcome that tight pressure of their defense, they will not be able to match that.
Yeah, they can't outshoot you.
Yeah, the key is Devin Booker has to be aggressive, but in control. Because we see Devin sometimes when he gets against a team that hounds him defensively is aggressive, but too much so, where it becomes hunting for his own shot at the detriment of everybody else. And he can't get in that position tonight. He's got to be aggressive the way he was yesterday against the Timberwolves.
Michael in the chat says, does starting 2 rookies mean this team is sorry AF? I would say the exact opposite, Michael. I think starting 2 rookies means those rookies are goated AF. I'm going to go with that.
Checkmate.
I mean, yeah, and injuries.
That too. That too.
More than anything else, right.
All right, so speaking of those injuries, Coach Bud did speak about Bradley Beal's progress before the game, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, Brad is putting in work to get back, so I don't think there's a reevaluation per se, but there's a lot of work that he put in today with our sports performance team, with our medical team, and we feel like he's making good progress, but there's no update.
No update, but we feel like they're making progress. So
that is the only update the Suns give is no update. Why do we keep asking? I know that's part of the job, but at some point it's just like, hey, so no update on Brad? Thanks. All right. Save the time.
I mean, he had to have an answer. He couldn't say nothing. They were asking the questions. But it was as close to a no answer as you could absolutely get.
I wonder where you learned that. Greg Popovich?
I was about to say, I have heard coaches say in years past, it's the same answer I gave you last time you asked it. Verbatim.
So you did bring up Book needing to play at a high level tonight. Coach Bud also talked about how the Suns have operated out of Book being double teamed.
A little bit of both. At times, I think, first, Devin has been great. Like his unselfishness, his willingness to pass and, take the aggressiveness of the defense and hopefully turn it in our favor. Book has been phenomenal. And then behind it, at times we've been good. At times I think we need to be more aggressive. The guy on the first pass out, I think, has got to be more aggressive. And, you know, sometimes we get good looks and we just haven't made them. You know, so I think we got to keep trusting, you know, kind of what we're emphasizing, what we're doing, keep empowering our players to make plays, and Book to keep trusting everybody. And he's done that. And, you know, we have all the confidence in the world. Our guys are going to be aggressive and they're going to make plays.
So last week we had a written piece that came out that highlighted Devin Booker's passing ability. And a lot of it was him playing off of the double teams that he's seeing and highlighting his growth. Within that, he's really grown as a decision maker. He's changing up the speed at which he's getting off of the ball. Sometimes he'll get off it quick and allow for the offense to play in the advantage quickly. Sometimes he'll string the two defenders on him out for a beat or two longer, which pauses the rest of the defense around him and allows for everybody else to respace. And it just makes it that much more hard, that much harder to defend him in those scenarios. I'm expecting the Magic to send some double teams at him, but I think they'll bet on a little bit more of their high-end defenders playing one-on-one tonight.
Espo, what are the guys wearing in this one?
Oh, it's finally time. The City Edition jerseys. And I got to tell you, I was a little lukewarm to begin with, but they're growing on me. And then the Magic have their bland white pinstriped. Sad excuse for a 90s knockoff.
Okay, so we haven't talked about these new jerseys on a show really since they were revealed to us, because we've always had games since then. How do you guys feel about these jerseys? Be honest.
I love them. I was a little bit disappointed at first when they released without the number. It felt very blank. I like the oversized number. I think they look really good on the players, and then that court to top it all off. This is going to be, if they are able to win in these jerseys, I feel like these are going to go down as some fan favorites. I don't think they're perfect. Could have used the cactus.
Honestly,
on the jersey.
Not having the cactus is the only L for these jerseys, in my opinion.
But I think they're still good.
Espo?
I like them.
Okay.
I obviously am wearing the cactus hat. I am impartial when it comes to that, but I didn't like them at first because the Western font, I had a problem with it. But then they explained that this is not just a nod to the 95 All-Star jerseys. This is also a nod to the 1975 All-Star jerseys, which had the Western font on them. So when you're honoring All-Star games as a whole, I can buy into it. I'm still a little sauce on the bubble numbers that they decided to put on there, because they're not the same ones from 95. They're just some random bubble font that kind of looks like it.
If they made sense with the whole quote-unquote all-star inspiration, then it would make a little more sense.
Now, I haven't gone and looked, do they line up with the 2009, but I don't think they do at all. But the court is literally one of the most beautiful courts I've seen for the Suns and in the NBA in the City Edition. It's cool to see the gecko back. If you were around in 95, you know that was in a accoutrement to the rest of it. I could be slightly happier, but I'm pretty damn happy with this.
I think this is perfect. The court is perfect. The jerseys are perfect. I love the blending of different tones of brown on the hardwood. Not too much purple to take away from the pop of the jerseys, but just enough of a hint to make it accent. I mean, I don't think you could ask for much better.
I actually don't mind green being incorporated
I don't
into a
either.
purple
It's
and
perfect.
orange
I don't
color
hate it at
palette.
all.
Like, everybody knows I'm very traditional when it comes to the purple and orange, but if you told me green was going to become a subcolor for this team moving forward, I wouldn't complain.
Now you need the Diamondbacks to bring back the early
that's true.
2000s joints.
Welcome to Arizona. You have to take that every single person who's ever watched the Diamondbacks has ever had.
I just wish they had the cactus on the jersey. That's all. Even if it was on the shorts or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It is on the
feels-
shorts.
It is, right?
It's on the waistband. It's about
But
the
you can
size of a
barely
postage
see
stamp.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's just incomplete without the cactus.
Yeah.
When you see it all, and when it's all put together with the court and the players and everything, it's perfect. But from like a consumer standpoint, if I'm buying the jersey, I'm not wearing the jersey while standing on a court. I miss the cactus.
Well,
That's all.
I would have loved if on the one side of the shorts is the sunburst. If they had put that logo that's at center court
'Cause it-
with the cactus on the other leg, I would totally be down for that. The thing that's on the waistband,
it's like the belt buckle, right?
the actual cactus star logo from the All-Star game, it's not the court logo. So the court logo doesn't wind up on the uniforms. I would have loved either the gecko or that center court logo on the other side of the shorts. That's my TED Talk. Thank you for joining me on the uniforms.
But the court is phenomenal.
It's fire.
Phenomenal. Best court by far.
Maybe this is a conversation for another time, but I'm wondering where this ranks in the City Edition jerseys that they've had, because they've had some heaters.
Well, let's do a draft on Friday.
I'm just going to tell you right now, it's 2 to the Valley, but this court's better than the Valley court.
Yeah. That's a good
Done
take.
and done.
That's a good take.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
why
what if you
not?
draft
We'll
your
have a little fun.
ultimate, like your jersey, your court, maybe like your arena giveaway?
Or I don't know. We'll do something.
Arena giveaway.
I don't know.
Honestly,
An Espo bobblehead.
I feel like I would probably have way more opinions about arena giveaways than anybody on this program.
Hey, Lindsay, you're on.
There have been some really good ones and some really bad ones.
I found this weekend the Sean Marionette, which was literally Sean Marion as a marionette, and the Marion Duck.
Fantastic.
I found both of those this weekend, and those are 2 elite
my
giveaways.
gosh, so good. All right. Well, I'm excited to see this court and this jersey in action tonight. But who you guys got and by how much? Who are you rolling with in this one?
The Magic by 1. The bit is back.
Oh, boy. Steven?
I got the Suns by 4. I think it's going to be a strength versus strength matchup. But I do think the Suns will find a way to prevail, but it will come more so from the reserve units than that starting unit in particular.
Suns by 6. I think you really get a picture of this team's identity. And I think they're going to see some fun coaching decisions. You already are with the starting lineup. I think it's going to be a fun one.
I have the Suns by 3. I'm feeling not great, but good about a Suns win. But what do our friends at Bet365 think, Steven? How are they feeling about this game?
Well, considering the Orlando Magic are on this 5-game win streak and all of the things that are involved with that, we see them as the favorites in this one on the money line at -185 and also -4.5 on the spread as well. And on the Sun side of things, you see them at +55 on the money line and a +4.5 on the spread. As I always say, be wise with your money, but also I do think that this is a game that the Suns are going to really look to get, considering what took place just a little bit over 24 hours ago.
That's what scares me off on it a little bit, is because it was less than 20 or it was a little over 24 hours ago.
But they played really well in their last Sega Baba.
Agreed.
But they had to travel like 10 times the distance this time.
Yeah. But when you look at it, when you're getting 4.5 for a home team, it's tempting.
It's really like 6.5 if you take away the home court stuff.
All right, well, let's look at our bets, what we're putting our money on tonight with our pregame picks presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app, use the code PHNX365 when you sign up. Find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. This one was tempting, right, Espo? That's why I took it. I took the Suns to win tonight's game. I'm just rolling with the money line. It did move, as you guys just saw. It's a +155. Earlier today, it was a +145, though. But I'm feeling good about the Suns.
I don't disagree with you. I have that involved in my bet. I do have the Suns to win at end of regulation. So even if they go into overtime and win, that doesn't count for me. But I'm parlaying that with Mason Plumlee. Your time is now. 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. And Devin Booker, 25+ points. All of that at a boosted +450. Thanks to our friends over at Bet365.
I like it, but I got something else cooking.
What you got cooking?
Because I'm back in the lead, and I want to add to it tonight. So I'm going Tyus Jones, 20+ points, because Devin Booker, as I said earlier, needs a running mate tonight, and I think Tyus Jones could be that guy.
I don't hate it, unfortunately.
I don't either. That's the route to winning this game for sure. On my end, I got a couple things on the Sun. Well, one thing on the Sun side and a couple things on the Magic. Obviously, Devin Booker has been in a nice scoring groove. I got him at 30 or more points in this one. Goga Bitadze, who's likely going to be starting for the Orlando Magic with Wendell Carter Jr. out, have him at 11.5 or more rebounds and assists. Franz Wagner, I have him at over 27.5 points. And Jalen Suggs at over a stock and a half.
It's a good bet.
Plus 1,100.
Is there a more fun name than Goga Bitadze to say?
No.
I mean, it's definitely up there for sure as far as like good names go. All right, guys. Any final thoughts? We have a watch party coming up. Or not a watch party.
Along. It's going to be a party.
It's going to be a party. A watch along. So we're going to keep the party rolling, but we got to do a little quick changeover. So any final thoughts before we do that?
Orlando opponents are only shooting 30.6% from deep. The Suns need to make the 3-point line an advantage tonight. Strength versus strength. Let's see who comes with it better tonight.
And Orlando's 1-6 on the road, I believe. So they not good on the road.
No.
Their one win against Miami in the first game of the season, which is also basically a home game for them because they're in the same state and they'd have to travel beforehand. So that's also something to keep an eye on.
And I know they're on a 5-game win streak, but right before that win streak at home, they were on a 5-game losing streak on a road trip. So maybe we'll start a new one for them tonight. All right, don't forget, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. 5 minutes. There's another link that'll drop. You'll be able to see it for the watch along. Come hang out for the game. And then, of course, as always, meet us right back here after the game wraps up for the post-game show. Okay, bye.
We all silly like the mayor.